All right, real quick before we get into the countdown, I just want to thank all those who watched my top 10 docs from last year. Thanks to those who commented and thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you haven't seen it, I will have a link at the end of the video. And I also want to thank all the filmmakers who put themselves in dangerous conditions to bring us these docs. You've brought me countless hours of insight into the amazing and sometimes terrifying world around me, a world that I might not have the means to experience otherwise. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right, well, let's get into it. Top 10 2013 documentaries I saw in 2013. All right, coming in at number 10, Counterintelligence One, The Company. And this is just basically the first in a series of 5 videos that lays out rather well how our national security state operates, both domestically and abroad. This is an extremely relevant video in regards to what's going on with the NSA, Bradley Manning, Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, etc. So if you're up for some important insights into what's really going on with our rapidly developing surveillance state, definitely give this one a shot. You'll enjoy it. Coming in at number 9 is Samsara, and it's basically just a visual massage, and it just envelops you with the amazing cinematography and some of the most mesmerizing places in the world. So on this one, just sit back, relax, open your mind. Coming in at number 8, this one is for my fellow military doc lovers. It's called Colombia Caught in the Crossfire. And basically it's a documentary made from the video of a journalist named Romeo Langlois, who was out on an anti-narcotics operation with the Colombian army. And during this operation, most of the men that Romeo was with were killed defending him and their buddies. Most of this was caught on video. Romeo himself was shot and captured by the rebels and held for over a month. So if you love military docs, you'll love this intense trip into combat. Enjoy. All right, coming in at number 7, it's called BBC Our World, Iran's Secret Army. And it's a story of an Iranian group of special forces in Syria. And what kind of set off a light bulb in my head with this doc was how the Iranian Special Forces mission in Syria is basically to arm, train, and lead the local population in defeating the enemies of Iran, and of course the Assad regime, but while also spreading Iran's influence in the region. And this is exactly what the American Special Forces did in Vietnam on a large scale and in many other countries throughout our history. So for me, it's very interesting to see how a new emerging power implements military strategy it basically got from its biggest enemy. Also of interest in this video is that the video that was used for the doc was actually captured by the rebel after they ambushed the people that were shooting this video. So it's a definitely interesting story, and guess what? Check it out. Coming up at number 6, it's called 14 Days in May, and this doc was suggested to me by Liskin29, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. And basically it's a story about a debatably innocent death row inmate named Paul Hammond, and this story follows him up until just before he is executed. I'm not sure whether I believe he is innocent or not, but it's still a touching story. And I would like to think, though, that if I were wrongly convicted of a murder and sentenced to death, that I would fight, scream, and proclaim my innocence all the way till the end. So I find it interesting and a little bit disturbing to think that it is very possible that an innocent man could be beat down for 7 years with "you're guilty, you killed her, you will be executed for this," to the point that that person would finally accept that as their fate. I mean, that's a pretty scary thought. It's a horrific thought. And I'm sure this has probably happened before. Whether it did in this case or not, I don't know, but you be the judge. All right, coming in at number 5, it's called Death Row Interviews, and it's a BBC documentary about death row inmates in China. And China has the highest number of executions in the world and is known for executing for nonviolent offenses. This doc basically follows a local talk show host whose job it is to interview death row inmates shortly before their executions. It's a powerful story that reveals many things about human nature on the fringes and the response from the powers that be. Coming in at number 4, it's called 4 Wives and One Husband, Polygamy in Iran. Imagine that. I did not plan that out. And it's a fascinating story about the 4 wives of a farmer polygamist in Iran. It follows the women as they go through their daily routines and captures the women's stories of loneliness, despair, youth lost, love, stuff like that. So it's definitely it's a good documentary. Give it a shot. Coming in at number 3, it's called Happy People, A Year in the Taiga. And it's a story about men who fight the unforgiving onslaught of Mother Nature in Siberia in order to make an honest living for their families by trapping. And it follows these men through their routines and struggles with the environment, and it gives pretty good insight into how they survive and overcome Mother Nature's worst. Coming in at number 2, it's called Delta Boys. And it's the story of a ragtag group of rebels or criminals, however you want to look at it, in Nigeria, and they're fighting to keep multinational oil companies from polluting their land and taking all their resources. By the end of the video, though, you get to learn their true intentions. There's plenty of drama and there's plenty of propaganda to bounce ideas off of and get a better insight into how these things are done in the poorest parts of the world. Coming in at number 1, BBC's Welcome to India. And it's a story about how the poor of India survive in the most wretched and crowded living conditions. And you have people who literally go into sewers of jewelry districts in order to scoop up the sludge and sell it to people who actually pan the sludge for gold flakes. And these people go in the sewers in just shorts. And it follows others who try to eke out a living doing other dangerous or filthy things, such as chopping up huge ships, recycling bottles, or boiling intestines. This is definitely a doc that will give you some perspective and help you realize how good we have it living in Western civilization. All right, guys, that's it. That about wraps it up. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and feel free to suggest your favorite docs for me to check out. Also, if you didn't see my last year's top 10 docs, I will have a link here in a second. And along with the link, I'll have a Journeyman Pictures end of year recap that I really enjoyed and think you might as well. So thanks for watching. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next time.
شباب بشوفوا ورا صغيره.
In this place, my friend died. It was the first time that he puts on a mask on his face because he decided to be an FSA, so nobody could recognize him.